Spain migrant. There was like a big crowd crush. Really nasty shit from Morocco.
Well, thousands of migrants hoping to get to Europe have overwhelmed the border between Morocco and Spanish territories in North Africa in just the past 2 days. Officials say at least 18 people died trying to make the crossing. CBS News International reporter Aidan Stretch has more.
Good morning. Spain's government has deployed its army as migrants have overwhelmed its border with Morocco in northern Africa. Over the last 48 hours, thousands of people, most of them Moroccans, have made the dangerous swim around seawalls and climbed fences separating Morocco from the Spanish territories of Ceuta and Melilla. The two enclaves sit on Morocco's northern coast, but are Spanish territory, making them the European Union's only land borders with Africa. Local officials have blamed the surge on a recent Spanish Supreme Court ruling, which makes it harder to turn away migrants arriving from Morocco by sea. Crossing the border does not mean free movement across Europe. To get across the channel to where we are now in mainland Spain, migrants would have to pass additional...
Is it so hard to get from Morocco to Spain they have to swarm the border? Well, yeah, they're migrants. They can't just walk over. Yeah, it seems like every once in a while Morocco expresses dissatisfaction to Spain over something or another, and then they open up the gates and let a bunch of like migrants through. Really nasty business. Killed dozens of people. Morocco's pissed at Spain for getting close to Algeria. Okay, fucking...
border controls. Still, the crossings have drawn scrutiny from conservative leaders across Europe, including Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, who said she is prepared to take extraordinary measures to defend Italy's borders and its citizens. This is not the first time that Spain has faced a crisis like this. In 2021, Morocco...
Have we considered bombing Morocco? New York Times has spoken with several Moroccan nationals who say they were encouraged to cross into Ceuta by the Moroccan authorities. Jesus Christ. This is literally like an attack then. It's like an actual attack on Spain by Morocco. We have to do a coup. Where's the CIA? Does Spain have a CIA? We've spoken to several Moroccans who say they were encouraged to cross into Ceuta by the Moroccan authorities. Yosef Eloy, 26, said that it's great. You realize this is like a Bay of Pigs thing. Not even Bay of Pigs. They're literally like weaponizing migrants. These are desperate people. And the Moroccan government is like, we're mad that we're not getting to do enough evil. We're going to toss 60,000 people at you. Who cares how many of them die? We're making a point. Spain does have an army. Yeah, but keep in mind, the migrants aren't the enemy here. They're the victims. Morocco's the problem here. The U.S. and Israel are friendly with Morocco. Yeah. Opinion, is Spain being punished? In the months leading up to the crisis in Ceuta, pro-Israel voices conspicuously raised the issue of the enclave. Well, they are the source of, or at least one of the root producers of the world's evil right now. Joining us, 57 migrants died while trying to cross the border. Jesus Christ. You know, afterwards, all these guys left peacefully, all the migrants. Some 60,000 people, and the Spanish authorities were like, all right, go on now, get. And they all left. They weren't a threat. Morocco's committing genocide in the Western Sahara, which they illegally invaded. Sounds to me like we need to invade Morocco.
Authorities relaxed border enforcement following a diplomatic dispute with Spain, allowing 6,000 migrants to cross into Ceuta in a single day.
Now, Spain is trying to defuse the migrant crisis in its tiny territory in North Africa. The Spanish government says an estimated 50,000 people crossed over from Morocco to Ceuta in a single day. Local officials say at least 34 people died, most by drowning, as crowds came across by land and sea on Thursday. Just take a look at these extraordinary images. I mean, Ceuta now juts out into the sea from Morocco and has long been a target for migrants trying to reach Europe. Here's a look. We saw a look of the chaotic scenes there. It's unclear.
Why does Spain even have African territories? Just let them have the specks of land. It's complicated. Morocco is the gateway into the... Morocco is basically like the Turkey of North Africa in the sense that they're the gateway into Europe. For millions and millions of people in Africa who are subject to ethnic displacement, genocide, terrorism, Boko Haram, Islamic militias, inequality of any kind, starvation, whatever. They want to go up to Europe. Who wouldn't want to go up to Europe, right? So Morocco weaponizes the fact that they're a crossing into Europe. This is the main reason why they're an ally of ours, you know? It's the same reason we need Turkey. It's a strategic position. Spain holds Ceuta. I don't know much about Melilla over there, but Spain holds Ceuta because it's kind of like a crossing point, essentially. Morocco was not the victim here. The people of Morocco are, but the government of Morocco is very evil. Morocco has a deep tie to Israel. I'm not going to do research on that. I'm going to believe it because it feels true. If something's bad and you tell me it's Israeli, I'll agree with you.
We saw a look at the chaotic scenes there. It's unclear what caused the sudden rush. Spain's prime minister suggesting it was...
Well, apparently we have reports that the Moroccan government just straight up encouraged these people to flood over.
It's fueled by a recent Spanish Supreme Court ruling on migrants arriving by sea. The surge is already deepening divisions.
Hold on, context. The U.S. and Israel are pissed at Spain because they won't help in the Iran war, so they're basically pushing to stress Spain out. It's, yeah, do you think that's an angle here? Like Israel, America, and Morocco are colluding to put pressure on the Spanish government to punish them for not being pro-Zionist? They literally unloaded them from trucks. This might be from the Syrian civil war. Who knows? Do you think the military would have been justified in firing here? Nope. The only people that died were migrants that drowned or died in the crowd crush. These are innocent people. The migrants are just total victims, just desperate people being weaponized by the Israeli Moroccan governments in an effort to put pressure on Spain. Really grim. How are good countries like Spain supposed to stand up to this? You know, you stand by your principles, you do the right thing, and a deep state op inflames hyper-nationalist tensions in your country. You know, this incident on its own probably pushed the nation of Spain like 5 points to the right. Our far right has already capitalized on it. Yeah. The whole European far right is screaming about this because, oh, scary migrants, even though it's literally a fucking Moroccan op. And broadly for chat, Ceuta has never been a part of the modern Moroccan nation state. It's been a Spanish territory from 1580 and then reinforced in 1640. Yeah, that's a while back. Analysts at Israel-funded think tanks argued back in April that Israel should help Morocco take over Ceuta in order to punish Spain. Man, what are you supposed to do about this? In March 2026, Michael Rubin of the American Enterprise Institute, writing through the Middle East Forum, called on the Trump administration to formally recognize Ceuta and Melilla as occupied Moroccan territories, thus branding Spain a colonial power running colonies across the Strait of Gibraltar. Days later, Representative Mario Diaz-Balart, chairman of the House Subcommittee on National Security and one of Marco Rubio's closest congressional confidants, declared publicly the enclaves are, quote, not in the geographic territory of Spain, but rather Moroccan territory. If you do the right thing internationally and oppose a genocide, like the deep state pulls every string they have and just tries to tear you apart from the inside, it might actually work, too. Why does Spain have Ceuta? They've had it for like half a millennia. Morocco's literally North African Israel. They tried invading their neighbors, too. Israel's been buddy-buddy with Morocco. I didn't even know there was an Israel angle to this, man. Not just Panama, Morocco used Israeli surveillance to hack senior French and Spanish officials. Man, it gets to a point. It really, really, really gets to a point. Like, it's very, very possible that Spain is going to shift far right in the next elections because of this. They're going to be talking about it in years and years and years and years and years, and it's literally just a fucking U.S.-Israeli op to push Spain far right to punish it for not backing the genocide. Doesn't matter, Masaigu. It's not like it's gonna be the Tinder has been lit, you know? Yeah, this is what people were referring to when they were talking about the Odyssey having been filmed in occupied Western Sahara, right? Spanish far right is pro-Israel. The far right everywhere is pro-Israel. All far right ultra-nationalist racists see themselves in Israel. It's the same reason far-right groups in every country in the world all converge towards supporting Nazism. Far-right Indians, pro-Nazi. Why? Because it all converges there. You just swap the races. Israel has just single-handedly alienated the Spanish right. No, you're totally off on this. The Spanish right doesn't care that this happened. They like that it happened because now they have propaganda to use. They're not alienating the Spanish right at all. Like, this is good for the Spanish right. The Israel's doing them a favor. If the far right in Spain take control of the government, they'll stop opposing the genocide. They'll stop opposing Israel. An internal Pentagon email reported by Reuters in April 2026 outlined options including suspending Spain from NATO over its refusal to facilitate U.S. operations against Iran. Pete Hegseth made the administration's contempt for Spain explicit, singling out allies that refused to cooperate to the Strait of Hormuz campaign. Trump himself had called Spain terrible. Yeah, he said he wanted to cut trade with Spain. In January 2026, Israel and Morocco signed a joint military work plan for the year during the third meeting of their Joint Military Committee in Tel Aviv, which the IDF described as deepening cooperation with a key partner for regional stability. A coordinated attack between Morocco, the U.S., and Israel with the collaboration of the European and Spanish far right. It's literally everyone. It's all the power in the world against the good people in Spain. It's all evil converging against them. Spain did the right thing, and they're being punished by everyone everywhere for it. Isn't the far right supposed to be pro its own country? No, there's nothing the far right hates more than their own country and their own people. They just want to rape kids. Anything and everything that gets the far right closer to raping kids is their goal, and usually collapsing the liberal democracy and turning it into a kind of Wild West oligarchy where the far right rules through the pretense of law is the closest path towards what they want, which is mass pedophilia. Even the New York Times is reporting on Moroccans being told by Moroccan police to flood Ceuta. Yeah, we saw this post, but it doesn't matter. The fuel's already been given to the Spanish far right. Why doesn't Israel care about the 100,000 Jews Morocco expelled? Why the fuck would Israel care about Jews? Ah, Thomas Massie being the only person in government with balls again. Don't fall for the fake Vox GOP outrage. 2 weeks ago, the House passed a bill that greenlighted the transfer of Spanish territory to Morocco. Every Republican except me voted for it, but now they are acting shocked at the invasion. What the hell? Oh my, wait, this is just, we just had a bill saying it? The committee notes that the Spanish-administered cities of Ceuta and Melilla are located in Moroccan territory and remain the support of Morocco's land. We just put this in a bill? In America, they just put that in a bill. Like, hey, to punish Spain, how does the U.S. have any say? Well, international law doesn't exist anymore. It's a big deal in Spanish media. Man, it's almost like America and Israel are the greatest threat to Western civilization the world has ever known. They wrote it down, so it must be true. I mean, it's not about whether or not it's true. It's that the entire Republican Party, with the exception of Thomas Massie, essentially greenlit the idea that, oh, because Spain doesn't support Israel, now we're going to weaponize Morocco against it. Like, that the explicit goal here is to empower Morocco to attack Spain. Like Spain is a long-standing European ally. They're part of the EU, for Christ's sake, and NATO. And after decades and decades of cooperation, we are literally enabling their invasion via Morocco, using Morocco as a proxy to attack them because they're not bending the knee to Israel. Do you have any idea how insane this is? We're backing proxy warfare against a fellow NATO country because they're not declaring allegiance to Israel. Jesus, man. It's so depressing.
Over migration in Europe. The crowds, mostly made up of young men, celebrated as they entered Spanish territory. Take a listen to what one young man was saying.
Very happy to be here. It's been a very tough experience to go from the ocean. It was
hello, least threatening young man, literally ever. That's it's crazy, like the narrative that these migrants are scary, and then they just like the most normal looking young guy speaking clear English. Literally just a dude.
Very tough. The police officers tried to stop us, but our will and our determination, we could came here.
CNN's Nada Bashir is joining us now live from London. And Nada, I mean, we've seen significant numbers of migrants cross over into Ceuta before, but nothing like this. 60,000 migrants, I believe, in just a matter of hours. What are you learning about the reasons for this surge that we've seen?
Israel.
Relieved to have finally made it to Ceuta, hundreds of migrants reached dry land.
It's also such a bad look for Morocco internally, though. Morocco is not a real country. It's like, again, like Israel, their international and domestic reputation is immaterial. They're a proxy state for Western interests, or I guess I should say for Israeli-U.S. interests.
And in the Spanish territory. They've spent hours at sea, some say more than 4, crossing from Morocco to the Spanish enclave north of the country, in hope of obtaining asylum in the European Union, a distance of approximately 5 kilometers.
Yes,
I want to work.
It took me 2 hours. This is my little brother.
Most are Moroccan, hoping to find
They're so fucking chill, dude.
a stable job in Spain.
All of politics is learning that evil's complicated, then learning evil's really simple. Yeah, it's crazy how that works, right? Informed simplicity. Like, the mechanisms by which evil is enacted are incredibly complicated, but the bad guys are actually, like, the most evil people alive. They're so evil that it defies narrative. It, like, if you wrote a book on the Epstein class and the extent to which America and Israel are colluding to destroy the world right now, it would be like, come on, seriously? Pedophile cabal, greater Israel, warring with your allies, global surveillance, deep ties to American tech companies, people like Peter Thiel, who just openly can't, like, aren't in favor of humanity. Like, he's, like, basically the Antichrist. Come on, this is too much. They would at least be better at lying, but they're not. They're all just openly that evil. They're all, like, kid-fucking lunatics, every single one of them.
But the reality, some say, is very different
American
to what many
government,
expect.
the entire Republican Party, the Silicon Valley,
I don't
our tech
understand why they
overlords.
come, why they're led to believe that there's a future. Yes, there are jobs, but then they're faced with the harsh reality that they have nothing, and people treat them.
How do I convince normies of this? I think a really good way to start with this one would be to say, even the New York Times admitted the Moroccans who came over, who left peacefully after they came over, by the way, said they were pushed into doing this by the Moroccan government. Like, Moroccan police directed them to make this assault on Spain. So then, why? Why would the Moroccan government send tens of thousands of migrants over to attack Spain? Why would they do that? Oh, just a couple weeks ago, the American government and Israel were both talking about how Morocco could be used as a wedge against Spain to punish them for not getting involved in the war against Iran. Pretty straightforward. It's not really like a conspiracy noticer thing. Like, the breadcrumbs are pretty out there in public. It's all open.
As if they are nobodies.
After an upsurge of crossings over the past few days, Spain has now decided to deploy its military to attempt to gain control of the situation. A decision that comes
But
after...
Vaush, you can't deal with 30,000 migrants storming a border like this. This ain't the way. I don't know what you mean. These migrants turned around. They left peacefully because they're ordinary people. Stuff like this is going to happen more and more often due to climate refugeeism. You know, climate crises driving people around. These are just normal people who are desperate for a better life. That's it. They're just normal-ass people. It's the freaks who sent them who are the problem.
The local authorities had asked Madrid for more help. Italy's Prime Minister, Giorgia Meloni, has called for Spain to be suspended from the Schengen area.
Isn't there like a 10% unemployment rate in Spain? Buddy, if you think 10% unemployment rate in Spain is bad, you should see what employment in Spain looks like. These motherfuckers are not working.
In response, the Spanish Foreign Minister said Italy was weaponizing immigration for political ends. Both Spain
yeah,
and...
even in this like mainstream media coverage, we're acknowledging on some level or another that Morocco is weaponizing migrants to attack Spain. So why? Why would Morocco attack Spain? And then you look and it's like, oh, because they're allies with the American government in Israel.
Morocco have said they were working towards a quick return of those who'd entered illegally, and applications for asylum in Spain will be processed.
Ahora mismo lo que estamos viendo, queridos amigos, es una imagen.
I don't speak Spanish. Why narrow it down to the US and Israel? It's the West. Because it's really important to understand right now that modern civilization, I mean the world itself, is being torn apart by genuinely like a few thousand people who enact their will with overwhelming wealth and political influence by directly controlling the behavior of at most maybe a few 100,000. It's not really the West. The average person absolutely everywhere, America, China, Morocco, Spain, even Israel, just wants to live their life in peace. They are pawns being moved around by, it's not the global elite because there is like there are schisms here. Russia, China, much of Africa and Southeast Asia aren't part of the same political bloc, but like broadly, it is the US-Israeli coalition right now. I think you could just fairly chalk it up to Zionism because, as I've said many times, Zionism is not about the Jews. It's just a way of using an ethnic and political and social front for the real interests of capital, which is reducing everything on earth to pedophilia. Just absolute world domination. But the average Zionist isn't in on this. You think the average, like, kind of liberal Jewish Zionist who lives in New York or whatever is in on the big fucking game? No, of course they're not. The average Christian conservative, the average Jew, even the average Israeli, even like the most the Israeli population by and large is very far right, very bloodthirsty, but they're just like bloodthirsty for ordinary reasons. They're not thinking in their head like, oh yeah, we're nefariously weaponizing capital in the West to dismantle civilization. They're not thinking that. They're just thinking like, oh, Muslims scary. The average person is stupid and easily controlled, especially in this modern age of, tech surveillance, mass control of media, 4 people own every news station, etc., especially in Israel, right? Like all of Israel's news, or most of it at least, is like owned by buddies of Netanyahu. They've been buying up more of it. It's all very straightforward from a direct control perspective. It's just important to understand that being part of that system doesn't mean you're aware of the whole picture. These people are not chill, trust me as an African. Okay. Listen, all people everywhere just want to chill, all right? If you strip out all the bullshit, everyone everywhere wants to chill. That's like Marxism or something. It's a really, really fundamental principle of Marxism, of Marxist theory. Everyone just wants to grill. Everyone everywhere. All men are brothers. Marx did say that.
Don't want anything here, just for fun. That's all.
You don't want to stay in the EU?
I don't want anything from this place or this life. I want just chilling. I just go here for fun.
You will never make me hate these people. I don't care how much propaganda I'm bombarded with. You will never make me hate migrants. You will never make me hate migrants. You can't do it. You can't. It's impossible. There's no force in the universe strong enough. All information is communicated through physical matter. Sound is reverberations through airwaves. Touch is physical. Everything is physical. The amount of physical information that it would take to convince me to hate this man is sufficient to destroy my body its entirety. The only communication you could project to me that would make me hate migrants, it would destroy my body anyway. It would be like getting shot with a fucking neutron beam or something. There's no way to do it. You have to take me out with it. What about Cubans? Dog, the reason Cubans are an insufferable expat group in America is because they're not migrants. They're the descendants of wealthy people who left like 60 years ago. I don't have an issue with modern day migrants from Cuba, from which there are a decent number. Well, I guess I should say, like, you know, I guess I don't really have an issue with the underlying desire to escape and find a better life. The political opinions of any individual migrant might be objectionable, you know, after they arrive and start voting or whatever. Morocco's senior advisor to the king is this person. He was given Israel's highest civilian award in 2023. He essentially runs the government while the Moroccan king is out on vacation. Cool. Hailing from the Moroccan Jewish community, he's referred to as one of the most powerful Jews of the Muslim world. Fucking save me, dude. Jesus Christ. Groyper factory shit. Oh yeah, there it is. Founder of the Davos Forum? Wait. Yeah, one of the founding members of the C100 Davos Forum. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh my god, I completely skipped over that. Jesus fucking Christ. Are you ready for the new world order? Bum, bum, bum. Oh man. Okay. Davos, not Davos, Davos, I know. You will eat the bugs.